Holy shit, dude. Did it work?
What is up, man? Yeah, it worked. We're here. We got him.
Jesus H, those suckers. Those
Yo,
fucking bastards.
shout out to Instagram for being the fucking worst. Shout out to Optimum Wi-Fi for being the fucking worst. Y'all can go to hell. Fuck you.
You know, when they ask you, for these promotional packages, the next tier of megabytes for Wi-Fi, the next tier of speed for this shit, and it's like, yeah, sick. Okay, 10 more bucks,
Yeah.
fine. And
Um, yeah, next time I get one of those emails, I'm just gonna say, kill
suck my
yourself. I'm all
dick.
right.
Dude, honestly, I mean, first and foremost, thank you so much for the time. I apologize being late. I'll message you later. I'm not even gonna fucking
Oh, of
waste
course,
time with
man.
that.
Dude.
But God, it's so sick, man. Being introduced to you honestly was through that continent tour. I physically did not know who you were up until then, and then also I look back, I look at different credits, I'm like, oh, holy shit! Like, of course I know who this dude is. Like, goddamn. But it was crazy that like not seeing Kevin at the time and just being that transition, not knowing that something like this was happening. I've been a huge fan of Acacia Strain forever. So having this conversation, talking drums with you, dude, fucking awesome.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that tour was kind of like a big push for myself and my career. It was a lot of fun. And
Mm.
I mean, honestly, man, it's almost 2028. It might be time for a 20-year. That's all I'm saying.
Man, God, that'd be so fucking sick. It was crazy. I mean, and you know what? We'll get to that. And my draw, you have a lot going on, brother. You got bands, you have bands that you're filling in for. You're doing, studio work for. You produce. You have I mean, just all of this shit. And so my thing is, I love drums. I've been a drummer for a long time here, and always, when I get drawn to a new band, it's something to do with either the vocalist or the drummer. And your work is just always top notch. I love the flair, the amount of in and out of pocket work that you do. Beautiful. Even circuitry, going back with that shit, the
Oh my God.
contortionists, that was like, that was my shit. Love it.
Wow, dude.
So
Thank you.
sick. So awesome.
It's very rare I come across somebody who brings up circuitry, but whenever they do, it always warms my heart. Thanks for checking that one out. I feel like
Dude,
that project was always glossed over in the worst way, but
you
that's
know,
sick that you fuck with it.
and honestly, I feel like those type, like even something like the contortionist. I don't know if you, I mean, if you see like that. Do you remember that band at all?
Oh yeah, I grew up loving the
Oh,
Contortionists. I
okay,
wish they
okay.
were still I wish they were still doing stuff. I
I
don't
agree.
I feel like they've been kind of a ghost lately, but
Yeah.
yeah, the awesome band. Really
I,
versatile and cool stuff.
those first couple of records, that was like certainly a thing where I was just like, like beyond or between the buried and me, like that shit's like, cool. I appreciate that, but there was a little bit of a heavier side with something like the contortionist or something like circuitry where I was like, okay, this is, I'm really digging what the fuck's going on with this. So you getting your first drum kit, brother. Let's go back here. This is where this excites me for a conversation like this. Where does that
Let's
where does that
rewind.
come to you?
My my first drum kit was like a Sam Ash brand, like
Hmm.
dog shit thing. It was a brand called Groove Percussion, which is
Okay.
like no one's ever heard of that. And then I want to say like a year or two in, I got a Pearl session. I basically convinced my parents. I was like, I swear to God, I'm doing this seriously. Like I want a better kit. Like I'm not just gonna give up on this. Like please, get me like a real kit. And that was it was a Pearl Session Custom. I still have it.
Damn.
It was one of those things where I just got like every size for it. Like I had this gigantic drum kit. And I play a fucking four piece now, so it was truly just like a fad and me being like a young idiot. But yeah, I consider that like my first true drum kit because the Groove
Yeah.
Percussion kit was just like I mean it was just like a thing to like kind of test the water and be like see if I actually liked playing drums and whatnot.
Yeah, sure. I mean, was how quick was like something like a double pedal, a necessity, or did you find yourself? Maybe I should ask about upgrades. When we first kind of get those
Hmm.
initial things, you get that kit, and then you're like, oh, maybe I would like a China, or fuck, I really need a double bass. Like, what was that like first thing where you're like, I need to check this out just to up my game here.
I was lucky enough that for Christmas one year, my cousin who got me into drums, like he bought me a DW 9 5000 pedal that I also still have.
Sheesh.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Um, so I mean, and that was like a year into me playing drums, so like pretty fresh off the start. Um,
Hmm.
I was introduced to, or I mean, I kind of just figured it out on my own, like whoever I was taking lessons with at the time, like it was very based in like rudiments and stuff.
Hmm.
Like who I remember not being taught like any double kick stuff at all. Like I was kind of
Hmm.
just playing along to records and figuring it out, like listening to my whatever favorite band I had at the time, and just truly just like listening and figuring it out from there.
Hmm.
So I would say, yeah, as far as upgrades and like, exploring outside the norm,
Hmm.
that like getting a double kick pedal was probably it for me.
Of course. I mean, did you find yourself a little bit further down the line where you were maybe in more of a straight up D beat band or something, where it was just straight hardcore and you're like, well, this is single pedal and I have to kind of like rework my brain here. I fell into this myself. So I just like from so early on was a double bass player where it came into
Mhm.
something that's like, no, dude, this has to be single pedal. It's like, huh.
I mean, not really, because I've always been of the mindset that like if you could do it with one foot, do it with one foot.
Hmm.
So, playing like D beats and blast beats and stuff was like I will go as fast as I possibly can with one foot, and like until that's completely maxed out to where I don't have it, then I'll switch to two. So
Hmm.
I didn't really have to like rewire anything. I kind of just used it as a means to do things with that I couldn't do with one foot, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that makes sense. When you're tossing on, you kind of mentioned like putting on different albums and playing along with things, and that forming a little bit of like a foundation for learning the drums. What might been a, or
Hmm.
what could have been some of those records or some of those songs that you were pulling up?
Oh man. Um, I mean, if we're talking like metal, uh, it would have to be like classics like Slayer, South of Heaven, Raining Blood, probably some Metallica record. Funny enough, the first Metallica record I ever heard was Saint Anger, because it came out. I was eight
That's
years old when it
awesome.
came out, and that
Okay,
was that was my introduction to the band. So
okay,
honestly, it was probably Saint Anger, because we're talking like 2005 is when I started playing drums. That record came out in 2003.
yeah.
Um, so honestly, probably that. Slipknot,
That's
like self-titled in Iowa. Uh, Pantera, like Cowboys from Hell, or Vulgar
yeah,
Display of Power. Like classic records that are usually the ones that are like what you first get into, like rudimentary metal records, or like
yeah, for sure.
essential classics.
For sure, for sure. No, I just I only laugh like that thinking of the drums of Saint Anger. Like honestly, there's some pretty sick parts in that record, in that album that I still stick by, to this day.
I
Uh,
agree.
but the drums of it are like it's pretty jarring, for that being an introduction to any band. Like, holy shit, what
I
is going
mean,
on here?
yes, at the time for sure, but like here's the thing. He might have been just ahead of his time, because every fucking like death metal hardcore band now wants the ringy snare. They're
Yeah,
like more ring, more
yeah,
ping, and people, purists shat on that record for fucking years. And now
yeah,
it's like that's what everybody is going for now. Like they
yeah,
want the ring and ping. Like there have been so many like instances where I'm working on a record and they're like, make the snare more ringy, make it fucking ball, sound like a goddamn dodgeball hitting the gym floor. So like I never got I anytime people shit on that record these days, I'm like, nah. I was like,
Yeah.
the man was just ahead of it. He was just setting us up for 20 years later.
Yeah, I mean, and even most recently, like that new Sanguisugabog record. Like I was, even like, holy shit, dude's
Perfect example.
snare
Yeah, yeah.
went so much into that realm. But and I guess like even thinking back to old slam, like that's always been a thing, like and so I think
Yeah.
for it being something for like a mainstream band or a band, that is as big as they were, and it being on the radio and shit, and you're hearing that, you're like, what the? This is so strange, so weird.
I mean, at the time,
Yeah.
is it? I think the thing was like for that band, like,
Hmm.
is it right for Metallica? No. Objectively, no. I think that was the hang up. But
Yeah.
is it, if we're using Sanguisugabog as the example, like, is it right for them?
Yeah.
Totally, you know?
Totally. Yeah. God. I mean, you'd mentioned like an earlier cousins and kind of being the introduction into playing music and into punk and the earlier loves for those things. But where do you get introduced to live music? Is that something local to you? Is there a big bill concert? How do you discover that?
Um, like as far as going to shows or like playing
Yeah, yeah, going
myself.
to shows or whichever's first.
Um, I mean, at some point, I started going to concerts like with my dad. Like we would go see like Aerosmith. Like I think that was like my first live concert. Um,
Damn.
yeah, it was Aerosmith and I want to say Cheap Trick. It was like that was like
Damn.
when I was a kid, like that was like the common denominators. Like my dad liked Aerosmith. Like I liked a bunch of like heavier stuff, but like I also liked Aerosmith. And I was like, okay, I could get my dad to bring me to an Aerosmith show. Like I'm interested in that. I like them.
Hmm.
So like we went to, a few of their shows. I remember that being like the first one I had been to. And then like, Motley Crue, like grew up liking Motley Crue. Um, and then, like when I got older, like old enough to like drive myself to shows and stuff, I really didn't go to a lot of concerts like before then.
Mm.
But the first metal show I went to on my own, I was like 16 or 17. It was like Whitechapel, Acacia Strain, and like
Damn.
a bunch of other deathcore bands that don't really exist anymore. But but yeah, they were like the first show I remember going to where it was just me and like a bunch of friends of mine or something.
Sick. God,
Yeah,
that's so cool. What was that local,
crazy.
like Jersey wise?
Oh yeah, and that was at Starland Ballroom, which is like the New Jersey staple venue. That's like where most bigger bands play in Jersey. It's like one of two venues, honestly. It's Starland
Oh,
or
okay.
Wellmont Theater. Those are really
Oh,
you
okay.
get North or South Jersey. Those are the really the two main venues. But
Okay.
yeah, it was there, which like anytime after that, like that's where I kind of grew up playing shows, and that's like in my first band, that's where local battle of the bands were and stuff. So yeah, it was. I mean, I remember the show being fucking insane. Um, and it was like right after Wormwood came out, and the place was just like it was packed like sardines, which like I've noticed venues don't really do that anymore. But
Yeah.
back in, I mean, this is like 2010, 2011, like they had, you know, the place was oversold as fuck, and it was like dangerous to be there. I remember it just being fucking crazy, and it was such a sick show.
God, dude, that's like the one thing that I've had different friends over the years that have gone to Acacia Strain shows, and the one thing that is like a staple with every time that I have seen you guys is it is always like borderline. You need to be cautious. Like there's hardcore shows where like I'm looking around and I'm fine. And I'm not just I mean saying that truthfully, like over the amount of years of different shit that I've been to. But every time there's moments where it's like, yeah, you need to fucking really be like looking around. I can't be
Yeah,
watching the band right now because I'm like, this
something
is
about
getting
our
dodgy.
fans. Yep, they like to have a good time.
Oh, it's fucking great, dude. It's
Yeah,
so
I love
sick.
it. They treat us very well.
When you like bring us back to these buddies that you first make a band with. Like, how does that kind of, come to? And is this, like everybody already had instruments? Did you just have drums and then the rest of these cats, had to find some shit from a dumpster and pull together?
Um, it was actually already an existing band. There seems to
Mm,
be a history
okay.
here,
Mm.
if you catch my drift. It was actually an
Sure.
existing band, and the drummer they had wasn't working out.
Hmm.
Or maybe he quit. I honestly can't remember. But they were like holding tryouts, and like a friend of a friend recommended me, and was like, "This is my friend's band. Like, you should try out." And I did, and then it ended up becoming like my band. And so yeah, I mean, everyone, it was already like an existing thing, and I kind of just showed up, and it became mine after a certain point. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, that was my first, because before that, like I always wanted to be in a band, but like could never find anybody to do it. Like I wanted to be in a band from the time I started playing drums to then, which was like, I don't know, from ages 10 to 16 or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so finally by that point I was able to actually join a band and like play a bunch of really bad shows and and eat shit around the New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania area.
Okay. I mean, I guess from mind to mind, something that interests me is like you have like a gig, where it's a band who's looking for somebody who's going to be full time, who's going to be on the road with you, who's going to be, and you learning past, material, you kind of, have this little bit of a balance, or at least this is kind of how I've felt when I've been in that position where you want to do it justice as far as like the original stuff. You want it to sound like it's, what the previous drummer, was doing, but you also have that flair. Now, when you have something like you filling in for Better Lovers and in the amount of time that you are, like, is this just an all day, everyday thing of you sitting down and just track by track? Like, how did you go about that as far as in the time that you had figuring out fucking Goose's stuff?
I mean, it quite literally was all day, every day. Like it was from the time I woke up and then while I was sleeping, like had a Bluetooth speaker next to my head,
Mm-hmm.
just discography on a loop. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Psycho shit. It was just like I forgot it was like a week that I had. It wasn't a
uh,
lot of time, and you have to make every second count. Like you can't be fucking around, especially like when the stakes are that high. Like you have to, there's a lot of people relying on you, and you can't be wasting a second investing your time in anything else, which sucks because
yeah.
you're just fully diving into this one thing and hyper focusing on that and just like fully committing to that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean it was nonstop, like 24/7 for I think like a week straight.
Yeah. I had like a similar thing where I think it was either 5 or 6 days out. Somebody was coming in town, drummer, blah blah blah, whatever happened, and but from what I had was a lot more straightforward. So I was like, okay, like I can, make this work. Everything went fine. And then, I read different things, look through different things. Something, I don't know if it was through Goose or through yourself, when that happened and you filled in and saying it was like on days in advance. I'm like, this shit is insane. Like, I'm gonna need some time, brother. Like, how are we gonna do this days out? That's what's wild. It's like I'm just like,
Yeah,
holy shit.
I
When you have like
mean,
material like that, is it's crazy.
yeah, it wasn't fucking easy. It took a lot of time and care and investment, and it's like, but I mean, straight up, like I wasn't in a position to fuck it up. Like
Mm,
there was so much at stake. Like I was first of all, I wasn't about to like it wasn't about to be my fault that the show doesn't happen. Like that would be fucking terrible. So like no matter what, I was gonna learn the songs, like whatever it took. I
uh,
was. I was learning that set to the best of my ability. And like I wasn't taking no for an answer.
Yeah, that's it. What when you find yourself, I mean, as far as like within a gig for the first time, was there something prior to circuitry? I know that you did quite a bit with them and you were on the move and what, but was that like the first time that you really kind of found yourself like going out of state, being on tour, learning all those humps?
Um, Kind of. I actually, in between my like very first band and circuitry, I filled in for this band called Dark Empire. It was like almost
Okay.
like a power metal sounding thing um that I filled in for, and that's how I met the guitarist Christian from circuitry.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I feel like I only played like a few shows with them, but like there was some like out of state stuff going on with that. Um, but it was, I mean, it was nothing like too serious, but that was like, I think that was the only thing I had. And
Hmm.
that band ended up breaking up. So me and Christian, who like I really got along with and vibed with, um, playing in Dark Empire, like because of that, like we started circuitry and tried to do as much as we could with that.
Oh man, yeah, that's sick. What was that like a decent experience as far as like your first time out on the road and or was there some hiccups that you're like, okay, this is the on the job training they talk about?
I mean, uh, it was I guess the first time I experienced like having to like drive through the night with a band, that
Mm.
sort of thing. Um, it was definitely my one of my earliest experiences of like driving 5 hours to a show and playing in front of fucking five people or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean that it took I also did that for years after that
Uh,
show. So like, but I mean I guess that's like the first uh iteration of that, as far as like getting in a van with friends and stuff and just like trying to do something.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God. Okay, so I mean, I guess, and I had a lot to ask. I was trying to kind of dwindle this down a little bit as far as because I mean with production credits and all that, just a ton of different shit. We were talking about film, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I cannot have this be 4 hours long. I'm like,
That's a whole nother
that.
day.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do this to my guy here. Okay, moving on. As far as the Acacia Strain, so like I mentioned, that continent
Mhm.
tour was where I kind of see like an introduction of like, oh shit, like who's this cat? Look into your name. I know you very well. I just apparently had not seen you in person. But you were on a tour prior to that, right? With them filling in, or
Yeah,
was that?
my first my first tour with them was Hatebreed and Crowbar, and then
Oh,
uh there was a version of that continent tour that hit like all across Canada. Like it started in Nova Scotia and went to Vancouver. Like it was something crazy. It
oh
went
wow.
everywhere to like Thunder Bay and uh Saskatchewan. I was like, it was a ridiculous tour. But that yeah, it went in that order. Um, those two, and then like the full U.S. continent tour that
Mm,
everyone seems to have pretty good memories of.
yeah. Oh my God, dude, that was so fucking sick. It was one of those things where I was introduced to the band. Dead Walk must have been out for some sort of time because I remember
Hmm.
like there's starting to be mumbles of like a new record, and I was like, oh, okay, like this was really cool. I'm excited, to come upon something being new. And then Continent coming out, and it was just like groundbreaking in a sense, for my brain of like, holy shit, bands can do something like this or be this heavy, or like even just hearing the demos and like the four funerals, no fucking wedding, and then like hearing the record and Vincent doesn't have that on. I'm like, oh, but it's cool, to still hear that nowadays, and it's like kind of a shout out to that like early demo or whatever version that was that initially came out that didn't end up on the album. I love that shit. But as far as the that initial tour, then like you had, I would assume they already had the set list all laid out, and you just pretty much had to go track by track as far as learning that and getting that down.
Yeah, I mean, filling in earlier that year, like we had already been playing like almost half that, not even half.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Skynet, Doctor Doom, JFC, like those were like mainstays in the set.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, I mean, that's already, and I had grown up like listening to that record. So there were other tracks
Mm-hmm.
where I'm like, okay, like I remember this one. Um, yeah, at that point, it was just like filling in the blanks and kind of like figuring out what pieces are missing here. But yeah, I don't think we played that record in order now that I'm thinking about it. Like we kind of like flipped some stuff
Yeah.
to like fit. There's a lot of, I know how beloved that record is, but there's like a lot of stuff on that record that like doesn't in 2018, 10 years later, and I would even say the same, if we do this, in 2028, like there's a lot of stuff on that record that like doesn't translate live in the best way. So we had
Mm.
to like rearrange some stuff to like kind of fit better and make it work in the live context.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember like maybe the last song, maybe it was like Behemoth or something was changed somewhere in the set. And it wasn't anything that, was like that, like, what are they
Hmm.
doing? Boo! Yeah, I mean, you didn't have
No, no.
motherfuckers out there like hooting and hollering or anything like that. I think it was just kind of an adjustment of what it was, and felt like it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
something special to like the show, the element of, being live and seeing that too. Um, so that's, I mean, when you go through and you do that initial tour, that's kind of where the whole idea, comes as far as like, hey, we're doing continent US, like you're in, or was that even like where you just kind of shoot in already?
I honestly like I remember it being like on the fence for months. Like I didn't know if I was doing it or not because at the time Kevin had some family stuff going on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
I don't remember what exactly was going on, but he couldn't fully tour, but he wasn't sure if he could or not. So they were like, maybe you're doing this tour, maybe not, but like keep the dates open. And I'm like, okay, I guess. And I was convinced that like it wasn't going to happen, and I really wanted to do it because I was like some of the first touring that I've done in my career. So yeah, I was kind of just like on call essentially, and then
Hmm.
they were like, yeah, if you want to do it, if you're around, you're doing it.
Yeah, it like my first time. I would assume at some point, maybe on the initial like run with the record, they had done C Word, but like that was like
Hmm.
pivotal moments where I was like, oh, I cannot wait to hear this. And then hearing it live, I was just like, holy fuck. Tell me about your setup, because I thought that was something a little bit different than now over the, time that I've gotten to know and be more familiar with your playing. You had the two
Hmm.
Chinas, like the one stack, you had the China that was back here, the maybe not even a ride that was in there, like the two crashes, but you had some wicked fucking shit going on as far as like a stack somewhere in there. What was that more so like to accent or complement this record?
Um, are you talking about during that continent tour or
Yeah,
now?
right, right. Yep, the Continent Tour.
Oh shit. I gotta take a second to remember. Okay, so on that tour, at the time my setup was as follows. It was hi-hat, going from left to right. It was hi-hat, splash next to it,
Hmm.
two crashes up top. Where right next to my ride, or I'm sorry, right next to my rack tom, yeah, it was a stack, but it was a China with a broken symbol on top to create the stack. And the reason behind this is I cut broke and but then subsequently cut the symbol so it like has like two like almost like semicircles taken out of the side.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're actually hitting the bottom symbol. You're actually hitting the China instead of the stacked crash on top. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like carved out the symbol to be this weird like hourglass shape almost, so I can uh like use it's for whatever reason it sounded better, like you hitting the stack and hitting the bottom cymbal first. So that was my weird stack invention that I had at the time, and then I had my ride
Okay.
on top of that, and then the China on the or like an actual China on the like on my far right.
Dude, but like for something like Combine and having like that stack, I was just like, oh my fucking God, this is so
It's
mean.
it somehow worked. Like I mean, I don't think the record really used. I mean, I know the record didn't use anything like that. That was before stacks were in metal, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was like I guess that was me bringing some sort of creativity and like I don't know. Dare I use the word innovation to like the live setting and like bringing a new twist to these songs. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm not the drummer who fucking played on the record. So like
Yeah.
who cares if I like change something about which I did. You know, who cares if I change something about the songs or like add a new, you know, piece to the kit that like, you know, allows me to play the songs in a new way that
Yeah.
could be considered creative or, you know, fresh for people who are used to the old way of hearing it.
Uh-huh.
And I think that the whole I think that kind of just stemmed from that sort of mindset to be like, what is something, what's a creative way um I can like breathe new air into these songs.
Dude, you know, that was like one thing. I have a couple of buddies that are like drum buddies, and I remember one of my friends messaging him like day after that show, and I was just like, man, you know, this cat, it wasn't Kevin, you know, like that. I've seen him playing before, and it's a complete, you know, like respect to him. I love Kevin. I love his like work through all the discography and everything, but
Sure.
seeing like your take on it. You know, it almost reminds me of like, you know, initially the comparison would be like, you know, going on YouTube and seeing like a cover that somebody does where it's like, wow, this is really fucking awesome. There's like a different kind of momentum to it. There's a different energy. That was that whole set. Like I walked away from that. I was like, who the fuck is this guy, man? Like I love these songs and like there was just different fill or different flair in like in fills and just kind of fucking groove that I was like, God damn, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Got and I, you know, I mean, I just I like I say, utmost, you know, respect to both. So it was pretty fucking wild hindsight, you know, to then hear that you were actually going to be, you know, stepping in, come to find out, hearing these new songs. Were
Hmm.
you initially in? Was Tom somewhat of like an introduction to you coming on board here? So I know like Tom and Randy and Will kind of he was kind of in that
Oh,
mix, wasn't he, or no?
yeah, yeah. So, Tom Smith, he used to play
Smith. Yep.
guitar in the Acacia Strain. He he used to work at he used to work for Will Putney.
Okay, that's what
Like
it was.
as an
Yeah, yeah,
assistant
yeah,
and intern.
yeah.
And so did I. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, like when they were looking for somebody, they had Tom had reached out to like Will and Randy and Steve about like you know who they knew as a you know like who was a good drummer that like is kind of like a free agent for lack of a better
Mm-hmm.
word. And they were like, "There's this guy that we work with that is pretty good. You should definitely hit him up." And he did.
Okay, I mean, that's awesome. Tom had commented something earlier about he used to fill your stack with water, or somebody in the band used to fill your stack with water.
Yeah, I actually so yeah, I had a Zilbel for for that continent tour, which I forgot about because it's since been thrown in a drawer someplace. Yeah, I used to have a Zilbel, which is like basically a fucking ashtray. Like it's just a cup, and yeah, they used to fill the whole thing with water. Every single. I mean, they used to dump. This is before in-ears and like I used to just play with a wedge and earplugs. And the band was just that the whole band was doing that. Now we have like in-ears and a rig and it's a whole thing.
Mhm.
But before we had all that, you know, we were essentially raw dogging it. So like they would just take bottles of fucking water and just like dump them on my head, spit in my face, like yeah, fill the fucking Zill bell. Like they would haze the shit at me. I mean, they still kind of do, but like especially especially then they would just like I would just be soaking wet every fucking show. It was the worst. That tour was like in November too. It was fucking freezing every day. It was the
I remember it
worst.
being cold. Yeah. God.
Psycho
Oh
shit.
man, that is fucking hilarious. I mean, when so you guys start talking about, you've been on the road with these guys, there's kind of like mumbles as far as writing. Where does that process start? I mean, as far as these singles that we have gotten thus far, I'm chomping at the bit over this shit, man. I
Oh,
uh,
thank
I
you,
I
man.
can't wait. Like it is so fucking sick. And once again, the drumming on this thing, dude, I have it on at the gym. I can't help just being that dumbass who's sitting there air drumming over this fucking thing. So I'm like
I love
the
it.
flavor. It is awesome. But
Oh,
where does
my
the
dog wants
talks
to
of
say
writing?
hello.
Oh my.
Hello.
What
Are you
kind is that?
joining? Oh man, she is part. Hey, say hello. Turn your head.
What?
Hi. She's part Chihuahua, part German Shepherd, part Boston Terrier, part boxer. It's a bunch of
Some
small dogs and a bunch of big
hell
dogs.
yeah. Yeah.
I like to
Well,
think that a
damn.
Chihuahua just like gave it to a German Shepherd one day, and then this her name is Darla. She's very sweet.
Oh, that's Darla. Okay, I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
about her.
The
Man, oh
infamous
man,
Darla.
there she is. Wowie. No, so the writing though, as far as you sit down and you're starting to hear
Hmm.
original material, what might have some of that stuff turned into?
So honestly, like all of us are pretty tech savvy. In that like we're all like demoing ourselves and like writing like I'm writing full songs by my or what my version of what a full song would be
Mm-hmm.
by myself, and Devin's doing the same thing, and Mike is doing the same thing, and Griffin is doing the same thing. And then there was a time where um me, Randy, and Vincent got together and wrote I actually think it ended up being A Call Beyond and Swamp Mentality. That was
Oh
us three
shit.
together,
Okay.
and that was just to get together and like have a writing session, and
Mm-hmm.
just like see what happens. So, um, and then by the time we're done doing it, we did that for months, and hello, we did that for months, and we had like 30 something Dropbox songs, which was like a lot of
Whoa.
fucking demos.
Okay.
It was like an overload of content for the record. So
Yeah.
we the first 2 days was just like going through shit and like color coding sections of songs. Be like, okay, this riff is good. This kind of sucks. This sounds silly. And it's like literally like every part. It's like, okay, let's talk about it. Like, okay, here's this riff. Do we like this? Can this be something? If this is faster, this might be better. If it's slower, this might be better. Um, and that's kind of like how the record was made. It was like, some songs are like bits and pieces from like three different guys' songs. Like sometimes it's like, I'll start a song and Randy finishes it. And sometimes it's you know, um, like Devin or Mike like have a full song and it's just like, just cut this part out and add something different at the end and then that'll be something good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of like you have like all of these pieces, and I like to refer to it as like just like a bin of files and riffs and parts and stuff. And you're kind of just like you're taking different pieces and kind of just forming what eventually becomes the record. And
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like trying to fit all of these like blocks in a bigger box, and like you there's only so many that can fit, and it's like how do we get it to fit perfectly, and like what is the correct way to load all of these smaller boxes and some smaller blocks into this bigger box. And that was like the game that we
Mm-hmm.
had to play making the record, is like
It's like a
what's
Tetris
what.
effect.
Yeah, exactly, Tetris. Like it was a balancing act more than anything, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And also like, I've mentioned this before, but there's now six people writing for this band,
Hmm.
which is a lot, and that's a lot of cooks in one kitchen. But I also think that's a great thing because you have so many unique ideas coming from different places. Like my taste is nowhere close to the same as like Devin's, but I think that's cool because now you have different types of songs that end up on the record. You have different styles and different, and it just makes for a more unique, like melting pot of stuff. You get a cooler record that way.
Hmm.
And not to say that there's anything wrong with any band that is just like one singular or like two writers and who are just doing everything, but I think for this band specifically, given the fact that this is, our 13th record, which is fucking
Crazy.
crazy. Um, I think having six people all doing different kinds of shit is, I think that's the best course for this band.
Is this the third record Randy's been involved? I'm having a brain fart right now.
Fourth, the first one was Slow Decay, and then if you
Oh
count
yeah,
the Step into the Light and Fade Will Follow, those are technically two records, and then this one would be the fourth.
dude. And that was, that was like a when I start hearing these singles too, Slow Decay automatically came, to mind because not that like the records that we're following or even previous, like I have a special moment for every single phase of this band, and so like there's just like certain elements of each one that I love to pull apart. I love to put here. Songs like Whale Shark, I mean, there's just like all sorts of different stuff where I'm just like, dude, I would love to see this live, even though they're kind of deep cuts with shit. Um, but there's certainly an energy, with the tracks that we're on here. I mean, is there, because you kind of mentioned, and I don't want it being anything that's like spoiler material or anything like that, but
Mhm.
are we like getting anything of like that doom element that we've gotten on other records, or full on like half-hour tracks?
Um, I don't think it's a spoiler because I think the times of each song were leaked or not leaked. I think it's just information that's available. But
Uh,
yeah, there is a Doom track on the record. I'm not going to say where or what song it is. I mean it's pretty. If you look at the fucking the
the
track listing
listing,
when the
yeah, I
record
guess I
comes out,
should.
it
Right.
will be pretty obvious. But yeah, there's some Doom stuff. There's some more fast stuff. There's some slower like mid tempo kind of like it really the spectrum that the record hits is like it's insane. Like I really do feel like there's a little bit like if you like every era of the Acacia Strain, you'll love
Hmm.
this record because it kind of like it picks at uh you know it, in my opinion all of the past records while also adding a new element and like it's something fresh. It's like almost like taking all of what came before this record and just like boosting it with steroids.
Well, and blasts.
And Blast, and of course, who could
Fuck.
forget that?
Here, I mean, like, and I think there's definitely been, like nudges at that, like that Kevin has had, things like that. But I mean, for like
Mhm.
the duration of a measure and it being something like that, and Vincent absolutely fucking losing his shit over that, I'm just like, oh my God, dude, this is
Oh,
fucking
it's I love that shit, and
so sick.
I mean his work in particular on the record. I mean, the man sounds better than he has in the 21, 24 years that this band has been in existence. Like,
Hmm.
and you know what's also crazy is how long the band has gone without playing blast beats. Like the
Yeah,
first blast
yeah,
beat
yeah,
was like the last was Step Until Late. Like,
yeah.
and maybe it comes in waves, honestly. Like I don't know for sure,
Mm.
but still, the band went so long, nearly 20 years without a blast beat. Like that's pretty
Hmm.
good.
Dude. And that getting to see them playing It Comes in Waves all the way through,
Yep, I was at one
that
of those
was
shows. It was so sick.
What one were you at?
Uh, I was just attending as a friend. I didn't play it,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. No, right.
it was St. Vitus in New York.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah, I got to see it in Detroit, and I was just like,
sick.
because they played. Damn it, why can't I fucking think of the name of the record? They had that
Wormwood.
one night, and that Wormwood. I'm sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
Wormwood one night, and they had, and I'm pretty far from Detroit, and I'm just like, I really have to see it comes in waves. Like this is gonna be fucking bonkers, and it was. Holy shit, was it bonkers?
Yeah, that show sounded really fucking. That was really cool.
Crazy.
Such a crazy. I think the night that I went was like the first time they ever did it. It was crazy. Like I could
Oh, really?
see,
Shit.
yeah, I could see like all of them going through the roller coaster of emotions that that
Yeah.
record is. Like that was such a cool thing to experience. And
Yeah.
just as a friend of theirs at the time, and
Mm.
and also as a fan as well, seeing them do that was fucking sick.
Man, oh man, dude. Okay, so I, I'm gonna have fucking ADHD moments where I'm bouncing back and forth from memories and times of seeing you guys live
Hmm.
and fucking this new record. I really have to keep on track because I don't want to waste your whole fucking night also. But
Oh,
uh,
dude, no worries, man.
equipment specs. This is something that like since I've been a little kid, I've been excited to be able to see a fucking picture in the the booklet or something of like, oh, what symbols are they using in the fuck? Oh, I get to talk to you, brother. That's even fucking more cool. I mean, what were we using? Maybe let's start with symbols in the studio.
Uh, Zildjian. It's always Zildjian. Which
Mm-hmm.
ones? They always kind of change, especially like
Okay.
crashes, like depending on what I'm doing. If I'm recording, I'm using some sort of like K suite, K cluster.
Mm-hmm.
Any K like records like a fucking dream. Live, I usually use something a little heavier, maybe like a Z custom, maybe an A custom, or like a even like a regular A series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have an OG Z series ride, like the one of the first iterations of the Mega Bell,
Oh,
that
right.
I
Okay.
actually bought for just strictly to use for my drum library power kit because I could never find samples of that ride. I could always find like the A custom one because that had been in production for years, and this is before they brought back the Z custom line. So I like went crazy trying to find an original star pattern C custom Mega Bell. Um, and I finally got one from an Instagram account called Hazel Should. That's I think like either some sort of drum shop or like online store based out in California.
Okay.
And
Well.
and that's been my main studio ride, or even I use it live too. I don't bring it
Mm.
overseas because I'm afraid of TSA fucking losing a rare symbol, like dropping it in the goddamn ocean or something. Um, so yeah, yeah, but and then I'm a two. I use two rides now too. Like I kind of have I do like a Mega Bell, like that's like my pingy ride, and then I have a crash ride that like sits on top of that.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
for like big like open breakdowns or like any chorusy kind of stuff that requires like a more like washed out like bigger crash sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually like a sweet ride or a I don't know some sort of K custom ride. Like I said, it always kind of changes, but um I mean it's Zildjian forever. Like I'll never play any other symbol.
Yeah. No, it's I actually have um, a screenshot in my phone. It was probably some years back. You would put up like a descriptive of like a breakdown of what symbols you had, what sizes they were, what kind they were, what drums
Hmm.
they were, what sizes. Because it was, I think, truthfully, after that continent tour where like I started kind of paying attention. I'm like, the symbols are so fucking sick. The let me ask you something about that. So being a drummer, this is something that's like always kind of like been conflicting with me is when I hear like a band that might have a like a high pitched vocalist and then
Hmm.
their cymbals. are like a higher frequency, like they're not so heavy. Like, has that ever been something where you like that hits your ear and you're just like, man, why don't they use fucking heavier cymbals? Like, or darker?
Uh,
Has that ever been like a like? You ever thought about that?
I've never thought about that once.
Maybe it's
Um,
just my fucking brain. I've had a
it could
couple
also
times where I'm
be,
like,
I
ugh.
feel like that could be remedied with like a mix solution, you know? Like
Oh,
I feel
okay,
like EQing the cymbals darker could fix that, if
okay,
it's like too much harshness or like too much of like one frequency range, I feel like that could be fixed in other ways, if not by like the pitch of the cymbals. But
right,
yeah, I don't know.
okay.
I've never thought of that. That's a good point though.
And I'm a dumbass. I mean, I could be completely off. My Cro-Mag brain is just like, I don't know. Where I was going with that though was with the harshness and the heavy, deep, of Vincent's, like vocal approach. That was something that really stuck out to me when I was, hearing, your sound over the band was like your cymbals were pretty bright, they were pretty fast. It wasn't something that was like a long kind of resonating. And once again, maybe that was just a mixed thing, maybe that's not necessarily what you're even going for, but the
Sure, sure.
complimentary angle, I was like, man, it just sounded so fucking good when I saw you guys.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I try not to use, with all that being said, I try not to use symbols that are like over the top, like harsh or too like, um, that get in the way of like other things.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I try
okay.
to pick I try to go with symbols that are more musical than,
Hmm.
these loud pieces of metal that are fucking obnoxious. Because they're going to be obnoxious no matter what. So let's try to get the most musical version of
Yeah,
that to try and make it pleasant for everybody's listening experience.
yeah.
Yeah, I try not to, you know, go too crazy with like obnoxious sounding symbols. So I guess you know, I do try to be conscious of
Zildjians
that.
do it.
They do. I mean, I haven't played every single Zildjian, so I'm sure but most of them, I mean, they are the more musical symbols that I've played out of any of the major brands.
Hmm. Well, I mean, you get an opportunity too, especially with like being in studio where maybe you're not playing them, but you have people coming in and they're bringing in Istanbul or they're bringing in Paiste and they're, different things. And it's like,
Not naming
uh,
names. Not naming names.
oh, well, I'm not, I have some Paiste shit. I have some, like, so it's not by any means that I'm like trying to talk shit, but I just, as far as you creating your own sound, for what it is that you're looking for personally, I think that that's
Absolutely.
like, an interesting opportunity of, oh, I don't have to go and spend $600 to know that I don't like what that one sounds like,
Yeah,
so
of
no,
course. And I
not
mean,
to be a knock.
at the end of the day, like if you are a good player, like you can make it sound good. Like
Sure.
it's all like in your hands. Like and I
Hmm.
guess, with that, if we're using it's just as an example, like Pisces symbols, like I don't play Pisces, I don't really like I don't go after those types of symbols. However, like a drummer like Eloy, it, it plays Pisces and they sound fucking amazing.
Hmm.
But I'm sure there's some other drummer, like I've heard drummers play them and it's like, uh, these don't sound the way I would prefer them to sound. So
Hmm.
I don't know. At the end of the day, like it really is up to the player. Like
The player.
if you could get them to sound fucking awesome, then they're the right symbol for you, you know?
That's it. Yeah.
That's
What
the
a
only rule. If you make it sound good, then it's correct.
There it is. There it is. What snare do you have on this bad boy on this record in the studio?
Um, what did we? For the record, we used a John Tempesta signature Tama.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm blanking. I know it's 14 by 7. I don't remember. I know it's some sort of brass or might be
Yeah.
steel. I think it's brass though, but a different like thickness than what you would get from a bell brass.
Okay.
But that snare sounds fucking incredible. That's like
It's
one of the best sounding snares that I like I specifically bought it because someone used it on a record, and I was like, that sounds amazing. Like I will take one, please. And we used that for the record, and we tuned it like pretty not fully like dumped. Actually, for one of the songs we did, we like fully just went like almost like lugs off, like just a oppressive splat of a snare sound.
Whoa. Okay.
But for the majority of the songs, it was like on the lower side, and which is kind of like my preferred like tuning range.
Hmm.
And then we used I remember the toms were a Ludwig Classic Maple, like 13 and 16 tom configuration, and then I have no idea what kick we used. If I'm being honest, I do not remember at all.
Damn. Okay. Hey, that's like the fun of those things, especially and also I think that's another like element of it being cool of being a producer and being in studios and being able to hear all of these different things and kind of taking mental notes. Like you buying that snare, is that something that you keep on hand? From there where it's like, hey, somebody comes in for a session, like you want to use that, like go ahead, or is that just something where it's like I've got that in the back?
Oh, no, no, no. Like I mean everything that we have at the studio is like for the sole purpose of like using with anybody to make a record. Like
Hmm. Okay.
sometimes people come with like nothing, and which like by design, because I'm just like I have a bunch of shit that I know works really good.
Hmm.
So we're just gonna go with that as long as they're okay with it. Like sometimes you get a little, you know, you get a couple stubborn people who are like, no, I really want to use my, and I'm like, okay. But like most of the time it's like we have our like arsenal of guitars or snares or amps or cabs,
Yeah,
well, like
right,
fucking whatever. Like we have all that stuff because like it's the best for recording
right.
purposes. And I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot like I don't mean to um say that like nobody comes in with cool shit because are plenty of times that they do like have a sick
Hmm.
amp or cab or even snare. Like it all depends, but we kind of at this point we all know like what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah,
So
right, right.
we try to like steer everybody in the direction of like we know this specific thing works. Like we'll always like shoot it out no matter what,
Hmm.
just in case. And like also like I like being open minded and trying different things. So I'll always try somebody's cymbals and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But yeah, we usually have our set of, we have like bags worth of studio cymbals that we know are like, these sound really sick. And, you know, if we can use them, we probably will.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a great thing as far as having that asset from that background and then being able to bring that like out on the road, being able to bring that into like the sound aspect with with anything even production wise. And yeah, I mean, so you guys have these first couple of songs. Like when did the writing for this start for this record?
Well, we recorded it in, I think it was April of this year. And I want to say we started writing it like August or September of last year.
It was recorded April of this year.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a pretty quick turnaround. The fucking vinyl and everything coming out in October, right?
I didn't think it was gonna work, honestly. I
I'm
that's what
like,
I said. I'm like, well, originally originally we were told the record was gonna come out in like August, and I'm like, there's no fucking way like a record's gonna be recorded in April and then mixed by May and be out by August. I was like, that's insane. And then it ended up
whoa.
becoming uh October 24th, everybody. October 24th, everybody. Um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I mean, it's, I mean, even that is still a quick turnaround. Usually it is a
Yeah,
bit longer, but I mean, hey, wherever the label can fit us into their very busy schedule, whatever
dude.
works.
Yeah, that's fucking that's crazy. Holy shit. So what was there because especially with it being the six of you, each of you have that savviness as far as technology and being able to demo out some different things. Was there anything on this that ended up, the majority of the song was something that you had wrote or big portions of it?
Um, yeah, Holy Moonlight was one of mine. Um,
Shit.
where yeah, that one was like there were like a bunch of other parts to it, if I remember
Uh,
correctly, that like I I mean the song is better now for sure, but there were a bunch of other parts that I had wrote that like just were not the vibe of the record, and then we took like and then we added the ending like together in the studio where it like slows down and gets all detuned and shit. Um, so yeah, that was one of mine. There's another one. There's like parts sprinkled across the record where I like there's one song that like begins and ends with a breakdown that I wrote, and there's a part in the Doom song that I wrote. So it's like it's all like kind of sprinkled here and there, and then obviously like all the drum stuff I come up with like as like sometimes or I want to say like the majority of the time anybody else writes a song, they're just putting like the simplest drum beats
right.
or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like fully writing out like and expanding upon that to make it, what is going to end up being on the record.
Uh-huh.
Um so yeah, I mean there's thankfully a few Matt moments and they were nice enough to let the drummer write a couple songs, um, which is like so frowned upon. Like you never do that. But hey man,
I think I mean, that's so sick, especially with like Randy's involvement in these last couple of records and having that. I mean, over the years, there's been different, like members in the band. There's been different moments, and different kind of highlights. And I think that's one of like the beautiful things about just, it in general and like the different iterations and different, kind of like paths and I mean, all of it still being fucking exciting. And like you say, 13 records in, 14 records in, like that's pretty fucking wild.
yeah, I'm nervous about the 14th one because now I'm like shit. Like we got to top this one. Like oh, it's gonna be so hard. But
Oh man,
yeah, it's pretty wild when you think about it.
yeah, fucking a. What I mean, when okay, we were talking about the different specs to the one thing I was gonna ask is pedals. That's always something. What double pedals were you using on this?
I'm on DW 9000s now.
Okay,
I,
okay,
I was I was fucking around with those trick pedals for a while, but I just I just went back. I still use trick beaters. Trick beaters, I will die on the hill that they are the best beaters that exist on the market today.
heavier or
Um,
lighter?
they are lighter, but they sound heavier, which is I know it doesn't make sense, but the construction of them, they use like a really light aluminum rod, but the hammer is like a flat like or the beater I mean is like a flat like hammer shape that like the way it attacks the head, it's like it's not like curved or rounded in any way. So when it hits the beater,
Uh-huh.
it's like a flat surface against the flat surface, and it makes the most like a tacky, like clicky sound that it like almost
Oh
like
shit.
boosts
Okay.
the attack sound of the kick drum. It's
Yeah.
it's the
Okay.
fucking best, and they weigh nothing. They really are so light.
Damn. Is this
Yeah,
just
they're
on like you pick them up through like Sweetwater, or is that something where it's specifically like you have to get them through Trick?
no, yeah, they sell them on Sweetwater.
No shit. Okay,
Yeah,
beautiful.
everyone hit up Josie on Sweetwater
Oh,
to
dude,
get the trick beaters. Josie fucking rocks.
fucking
I snapped a
rules.
beater on tour once, and he like overnighted them to me, and I got new ones like for the next show.
Fuck, it's
Yeah,
awesome,
he
dude.
kicks it. He's the fucking man.
I don't know how a place like Sweetwater, some of those cats, Josie. I'm trying to think of the fella that helped me for fucking ever. I'm like, how does this exist in 2025? All these years later, the first time they send you a bag of candy for the first time, just top notch shit. So nice, so kind, always checking in.
Yeah,
Like
I mean
fucking hey,
I mean that's they should be a role model for anybody. Like care about your
uh huh,
business, give a
yep,
shit about your craft because then you have that sort of reputation is
yep.
about, I mean I said Sweetwater and the first thing you said, "Oh my God, they're so amazing." Like
Hmm.
that's what happens when you give a shit, I guess.
Yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, I love that place. I mean, that place is fucking awesome. I've never been to the actual like physical plant of it, but every interaction I've ever had from getting stuff sent is fucking great. I gotta check out those beaters though. That's sick.
Yeah, of course.
And
I want to go to Sweetwater headquarters, not because I give a shit about anything music related, but I want to go down the slide. That's really what I want to go there for, is to ride the big slide from the top floor down to the lobby.
that's like so. It's like that's like some Cabela's ass shit. Like I saw that for the first time, and I'm like, this
It's so
rules.
cool.
This is so
It's
fucking out
You
of
have a slide in your fucking office. It's
yeah.
so sick. That's most, oh my God, what a dream, right? What a fucking
Seriously,
dream.
yeah, yeah. You just fucking go on down. You have maybe a nice snare drum in your lap, and you're just going down that bitch. Like I don't have to go down fucking stairs. What are you talking about, man?
That's the shit
I
dreams are made out. A snare. Oh my God. Like buying something and then leaving down the slide.
yeah.
Holy shit. Like what a dopamine hit that would be. My
Yeah.
God.
Oh
Wow.
man, I can't wait. It's in Indiana. That's right south of me. So me being in Michigan,
Hmm.
I have to get over there, and I got to make that happen just for my own personal rush. Just to have that once. Uh,
Yeah, same.
you,
Would love to do it one day.
my God. When what do you remember being the rapping for this record? Not necessarily the sound of it or anything like that, or if something comes to mind as far as like the last like couple of tracks or something that you felt like it was like, all right, we need to stop here and try to fucking dwindle down 30 songs.
I know we just kept writing. I thought we wrote more than what ended up on the record. Um,
Mm,
I remember and I at a certain point we were like, okay, we need to stop because now we need to actually start tracking. But we just kept going. We just kept writing because we were coming up with there were so many good ideas. And some of them didn't make the record, which sucks. But hopefully they'll see the light of day at some point. But
sure.
I remember like the last thing I think was the Doom song in question,
Oh,
which
okay.
the
Okay.
working title was Doom Song. So I remember that being the last thing. And I think it was Vincent's vocal. He had to that honestly the last two songs of the record are some of the most emotional lyric writing I've heard in a metal context in probably ever. And I know I swear to God I'm not just saying that because I'm biased and trying to sell our record right now, but I truly mean that. Like the one of the songs, like the first time it was the first song that he did on vocals. And I remember hearing it and just like the emotional honesty that was coming out of him in such an aggressive way. I was like, it made my heart sink. It was crazy. And the
Damn.
this long Doom song that is on the record as well, like it was so emotional for him to get through, that he kept having to like come back and like revisit it and also like rewrite some stuff, I think. And it was a lot for him to write that and say a lot of the things that he was saying. So I remember that being, I think the vocals for that were probably like the last thing that
Mm,
was done. And yeah, I mean, it's such an emotional journey, that song. It really is. It takes you on such a crazy ride.
wow.
That one I'm really excited for people to listen to because it's so yeah, we've done doomy shit before, but this is like there's something about this one that's different.
Mm,
And um and I don't particularly like that style. Like that's not there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not my preferred style. And like this makes me like doom shit, this song. Like
Oh damn.
it's slower and like I usually like faster, like high tempo sort of like ass beater type music, but like I don't know, the emotion in this one just like it's just you can't ignore it. There's just something
Hmm.
so honest about it that makes it fucking kick so much ass.
Damn. I think that's kind of like the key too with that subgenre of heavy, because I'm the same way. I grew up a thrash, kid with like my brothers like being into like very
Yep.
fast tempo, high energy, fucking, cymbal grabs, like all of any of that type of shit. And doom or sludge, those types of things kind of coming along, it's like, man, oh man, like what the fuck is going on? And over time I've grown to appreciate it more, but I feel like every time, if I look a little bit deeper into like the lyrics, or you kind of have that emotion conveyed, whatever it is that you're trying to kind of have in that moment, I feel like that's where it really kind of like traps me personally, is like, okay, I'm gonna keep on checking this out even though it's 18 fucking minutes, like there's
Yeah, unfortunately for me, like my ADHD like kicks in like so quick, and it's like, and even like playing some of the Doom songs, sometimes I'm like, fuck, like I need to do something else now, or I need to pick it up. Like it's hard for me to like to either listen to that or play it and be like and still be interested. And it's not the music's fault. I understand it's me
hmm
who can't like sit still for a second sometimes. But yeah, that being said, like this one, I think it goes to enough different places to where that's not even like a thought in my mind when I listen to it. Like when I listen back, I'm just like
sick.
it doesn't occur to me like, oh, this is a slower Doom song because it like switches gears enough times to where it's like, oh, this is like these are like chapters in a book or like scenes in a movie where it's like
Oh yeah.
where like you're going to different places or levels in a game, even like you're going to these different places and experiencing these different waves of emotion,
hmm
um to where that I feel like that alone should keep you invested.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Cannot wait. October 24th. This has come up quick, man. I was, like I say, I was pretty surprised. Then you say April was when you guys kind of wrapped on it. That's absolutely fucking crazy. The artwork
Yeah.
coming along for this, all of the variants. There's a goddamn woven blanket I saw that had the cover art on it. Like, it's like
Yep.
shit. That's a lot
Yeah,
of things coming together all in a pretty fast time there.
we honestly we did cram a lot of shit, and if you want to hear the record a week early, uh
Oh
in
yeah,
in
yeah.
Victory Mills, New York, at
Hmm.
Kickstart Coffee, Vincent and Mike are going to be hosting a listening party for the new record.
Hmm.
I believe the date is the 18th. It's whatever this weekend is, man. I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah.
calendar. But it's this weekend if you want to hear the record early, but if not, the record comes out on October 24th. But yeah, we tried to do, I mean, in typical Acacia Strain fashion, like we tried to do cool shit for our releases, and given the fact that this is my first record with the band, like I had a lot of ideas myself coming into it. I'm like, it would be cool to do this, and like it's been a second since the band has done music videos, like maybe we could do a couple of those, and maybe one of
Hmm.
them could be a live video. Like there's a lot of ideas that I came in with that luckily they just allowed me to do, which was kind of a shot in the dark. But yeah, we tried to do we for this one we tried to go fucking all out, and I think I hope. Well, it seems that people have really been enjoying all of it, and I mean, once the record comes out, like it's not going to stop. Like we're going to keep doing cool shit for it, and
Oh
carry
man.
carry it through, up until we do another one.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it's awesome. I mean, and
Yeah,
and you touching on that too, with having Call Beyond, having Swamp Mentality. It was always something, early on into my interest of this band of having like these fun, cool music videos that completely contradict the sound of what it is that's going on, or the topic of discussion of, like lyrical content, and you have some of the absolute goofy shit that, that would be happening. But somehow, like, A Call Beyond was a video where it felt very like, even maybe in Vincent's cadence, there felt like some sort of like a game show. So when this happened, I was like, wow, this is like pretty fucking on the nose shit here.
Yes, I knew this sounds insane, but I knew that that concept for the video was going to work for that song before it even before the we even recorded the record. I was like, because what had happened was like somebody we were talking about something about like the merch table, and it's it's a debate whether Mike or Devin said it, but somebody said like, what if at the merch table you like spun a wheel and it was called the Wheel of Misfortune, and instead of getting like 20% off a shirt, it's like 50% on the cost of the shirt, or like the long sleeve is missing a sleeve and we're like cracking each other up, and I'm like, and then it just like I was like, oh, that would be like a funny game show. And then it spun like, okay, like what if Vincent is the host of this game show? And I remember almost immediately texting Eric Richter, who directed the video,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
I was like, would you be down to do this concept for a video? And he was like, absolutely. Like that's it. Like that's and I'm like, and at the time, like this is we were in Europe months before we even recorded. So like I remember thinking about this concept like every day I was thinking about this because I was like, this is funny. I was like, this is funny. Like what like how could this work? Um what song would work? And like as I'm thinking about the concept of the idea, like the only song that it wasn't even a song at the time, but the only like song I could see working for it was what is now known as A Call Beyond.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just like I don't know, I just kept bringing it up and eventually like just made it happen. And I remember being on the phone with Eric like for hours and hours throughout the week, just like talking about like different goofs that we can do. And I'm like, what if the fucking dart hits Devin like Ace Ventura, and then like I'm like throwing references at him. I'm sending him videos. I'm like, do you know this scene in Austin Powers where like the chair flips back and he gets incinerated? I was like, can you do that? He's like, yeah, we could do that. And it just became so insane. And I'm like, okay, I have a list of these, 20 gags. I was like, which ones are the fun, like which ones can work? And I'm like sending him a list of all the fucking names and stuff. And it just, it just like snowballed from there. But there was so much fun to like, honestly, calling him and being like, and like brainstorming ideas and just like making each other laugh. Like that was some of the most fun, like, because music videos are usually they're always a nightmare to shoot. Like it's a 12-hour day and it's
Uh-huh.
you're sitting around for a lot of it. But like I don't know, both the videos we made honestly are were just so much fun to make.
Oh, dude, and they look like it. I mean, that completely translates with The Call Beyond. Was that the first time you worked with Eric?
No, he actually did um Gaping Wounds of Earth and The Sin of Human Frailty videos for End
Oh
a couple
shit.
years
Okay.
prior, and I'd met him a couple years prior to that. Band I was filling in for at the time did a video with him, and I we were in Chicago, which is like kind of where he's from, and we had met and like got along really well, and he was a super cool guy, and I just always wanted to work with him after that, and luckily I did, and
Fuck yeah.
yeah.
God, that was a great fucking video, man. So
Oh,
was
thank
this
you.
was this a single day shoot? Getting all of this for A Call Beyond?
Um, No, it took, I think it was 2 days.
Oh, okay.
There was a day that
Okay.
we shot like all of Vincent's stuff, um, and like all the gags and whatnot with like Jordan and like all the guests that we had. And then the second day was like the band shots and like the audience and stuff because we it was basically an open invitation to like whoever wanted to come. It was set very last minute, so not many people came, but it had a couple people like fans just show up and be a part of that audience bit.
Fuck. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Damn, dude. That's so, there's been different things, not a whole lot. There's been a couple things over the years though that have popped up like something like that scenario, and I'm like, fuck, man, why was I around for something like that? God damn it, that's so sick though. That is
It
fucking
was fun.
ridiculous.
Everybody had fun. If it's ever a thing that happens again, if we
Yeah.
do a sequel or a
God, was it something? Did anybody choose like their own demises? Like, was there anybody that had kind of like come out like even I guess with like Devin, you'd said that that was his thing. I felt like that was kind of like something where he was like, I just want to get shot in the fucking head
oh
with an
no,
arrow.
none. They were nobody's choice. I mean, we all asked them beforehand, like we we had talked about like okay, like this particular skit would work better with this person. And I mean, it is like Devin would is the funniest person to get fucking shot in the neck with a trank dart and slump over and be passed out the rest of it. That's the funny. He like that was unanimous vote. But
Great.
like we it was before we left for a tour, and so we had most of our crew, or if not, I'm sorry, all of our crew in the video, like um fucking stupid flask full of God knows what was in it.
Yeah.
Um, she's our tour manager, and so we used her to do that skit, and then Chris, our sound guy, what the hell did he do? He was supposed to get shot with the dart, but he ducked. And Stu, our merch guy, uh, was the hunter
Okay.
because I thought that the hunter would be like a Teddy Roosevelt looking character, like a old like safari hunter, and I'm like with the mustache and beard and everything. I was like, that kind of looks like Stu. So we're just gonna ask Stu. And thankfully, like our manager asked all of them to do, and they all said yes, which thank God. It was very very nice of all of them to let us torture them for fucking 12 hours that day. But so yeah, that was, and then we had like a couple of friends, like our friend Sam, like did we put the eye drops in his eyes and stuff. So it was like it was just friends that we called in for favors last minute. We're like, hey, do you want to do this? Wait,
Mhm.
you just have to sit there and like our friend John is who we beat the shit out of, like with the mobsters and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The eye drop gag was, I mean, horror guy. Kind of that was pretty wicked looking. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Was that like I mean more simple than what it looked? I mean, as far as pulling that off.
I mean uh it was like eye drops with like eye safe food coloring in it, essentially. Um,
I say food coloring.
yeah, like shit you can get in your eyes and it's not gonna like mess up your eyes or hurt or anything.
Oh
Um,
shit. Okay. Never heard of
and
it.
so Anthony Altamura, who directed Swamp Mentality, he's like a practical effects fucking guru. Like
Oh yeah.
he is the guy
Love it.
for like practical effects. Yeah, exactly. Like horror dude, like knows all the tricks and shit, knows what they used in certain movies, like knows how they did certain shots in The Thing and like in The Fly, like all these movies that are known for like their insane practical effects. So he actually was brought on board to do like I think almost all of the call him and Max, who is like his partner and like special effects guy, they did all the Call Beyond props and stuff. So They
Oh
made
shit. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Sick.
yeah, they made that head cage that he's in, that fucking like a Clockwork Orange looking apparatus that's around his head.
Uh,
They made that. They made the chair that falls back and the skeleton that they did the fire and all that shit too. That we did in like like a room that's like as big as where I'm at right now. We're just shooting off fucking pyro things. Crazy. But yeah, they did all of the like practical effects and except for Corinne's eyes glowing. She actually can do that on her own. She has a trick where she just makes her eyes glow like that. It's kind of crazy.
It's a natural thing.
She
Wow.
just I don't know how she does it, but it's pretty. That was not special effects. That was all on that was just what the camera captured.
She must use that at the bar often. That's the trick. Come on, let's go have
She
fun.
she
Let's go to the next one.
uses it for venue owners who don't want to pay us.
Get your fucking ass over here, bitch.
No.
Love it, love it. All right, well, let's wrap on. We're mentioning Anthony here and talking about swamp mentality.
hmm
This is the most recent video that you guys have, dude. Absolutely, just punched me in the stomach. I loved this. It was just me being a horror fan first and foremost. I
hmm
love horror, but I love the schlockiness in horror. I love the practicalness of things not being perfect, skeletons bouncing around, very Army of Darkness esque. You know,
Yes.
I was obsessed with everything, even up until the bell hit that they had to have your character do for the song.
That was me puppeteering that skeleton, by the way. I was in a
Oh,
like
I
a
knew it was
black
on
morph suit,
time.
like a yeah. I fully like I did a pass of like the whole song or many passes of the whole song, but I was in a black morph suit behind my character, um, with like fucking puppet rods attached to his arms, which are just his arms are just arms attached as drumsticks, which I thought was funny. So I'm just yanking on just yanking on these rods, fucking making his arms move like as erratically as possible to like make it funny. Because like I wanted, I mean that this wasn't even the original idea for the video, but like when we finally settled on this idea, I thought it should lean more horror because like that's I feel like that's what our fans would love. Um, I think that's genuine to us and like what we like. Like literally on the bus all day, like there's shitty horror movies playing 24/7. It's like Sleepaway Camp and Chopping Mall and like all these fucking
Fuck
these
yeah.
like B horror movies or like Toxic Event, like whatever else, gets played on a daily basis. Like that is us. It's like that's what we like.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like it fits the song, it fits as far as like I feel like Anthony was like born to direct that video. Like he is the way the stars align on that is so goddamn perfect. Like you can't make that up. Like he was born to make that video and just and knocked it out of the park like you wouldn't believe.
Oh yeah, I like I said, I love all the practicalness of behind it, the lighting. I mean, even into you get a little bit further into it, but just like the cinematography, the shots, like it was impressive. Like that's like the biggest thing, and I think the most surprising thing so many times is when something is schlocky or something is like very
hmm
practical in view in lens, but you look at it and it's like, wow, this is like really fucking beautiful too. Though, like
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
they used the shit to make it look great too.
of course, and a lot of those horror movies are like, they're very rarely are they made with the intention of like, looking funny.
Uh huh.
Like at the time or like when they're making, especially like in the 80s and whatever, but like they're making it with the intention of like, this is gonna be the scariest thing ever. And then you watch it, I'm like, that's goofy as hell. And like that's the vibe we were going for. And
Yeah.
'cause like, yeah, and we did want it to be funny too, because like that is also us, like, you know, we're not like a serious music video type band where it's like a girl in a tattered dress in the woods, and it's like, you know, like we don't, not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not us. We're never gonna do that. So, let's make something that is us. Let's do something that, is genuine to what I feel like who are the people, what the people in this band actually fuck with.
Yeah, dude, it's so sick. Like I say, there's for me, something has always been with a new album coming out where it's like it is literally from that initial look at and picking up something and looking at the cover and the album, the contents of that and everything that kind of surrounds, and the album artwork is absolutely fucking awesome. I love everything that has gone into the packaging of this. I'm really excited to get like a physical copy of it. And then the singles. I mean, I can't wait to fucking hear the rest of this thing, man. It's awesome. Congratulations to all you guys. This is a huge feat, and I haven't even heard the record, but I can tell, man. I have great energy going into this.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I mean, I obviously can't speak for everybody else, but I think they would also all say that like we're so extremely proud of this record and all the time and effort that went into it. Like I don't I think this is a new chapter for the band in the best
Mhm.
way possible. I think it opens so many doors musically and I'm excited for everybody to hear it for sure.
Yeah. And Mike Recon, fuck.
What a guy.
Let's talk about stars aligning. Jeez Louise, to have this fella, have Matt, man, oh man, dude, what a time to be alive. What a time to be a fan of the Acacia
Dude, this
Strain.
is this is the Mike and Matt
Jesus
era.
Christ.
This is this is the first
I'm
record where
ready.
we're fully
I'm
like
ready.
we're doing this shit.
Tuned
We're a
in.
force to be reckoned with.
Oh, wait. Before I let you go, hold on. Shit. I completely forgot. I don't know why I'm just thinking of this. This is a two-person thing, brother. I have from the continent. That's you.
Yo, let's
I've
go.
got I've got this and Chad Smith of Red Hot Chili Peppers. The only drumsticks I've ever caught.
Chad Smith fucking rocks. My first real snare drum
Pro
was a
Mark.
Chad Smith signature snare that I
Oh
don't have
shit. Okay.
anymore. I don't have it anymore, but
Nice.
I cut my teeth on that thing and learned almost everything in my teen years on that snare.
Okay. Dude, real quick, are we always fucking with the five Bs? Is that what we're? I can't even tell if this is a maybe even a two B. Now that I'm looking at it,
I've
you're always a
always
real heavy stick.
almost always played two Bs. Yeah. At least in like my professional career, like it's been two Bs for years. And I'm gonna have to send you a little care package because there may be say tomorrow or something, there might be some signature Acacia string sticks that are showing up at my
Oh,
doorstep. So
oh,
yeah,
damn, dude, that's awesome.
give you
Holy
something to
shit,
add to your collection.
beautiful, dude.
You're the
Thank
only
you
one I'm
so
doing
so
it
much.
for. I don't want to get fucking DMs about getting sticks. The only way anybody else can get them is to catch one at a show. I'm not selling my fucking sticks. I'm sorry, but because you have the condom one,
oh, good, dude.
I'll make an exception.
Matt, thank you so so much. The time alone today, this has been absolutely awesome. Hearing some behind the scenes on the new record, your journey with drums, and us getting the new record October 24th. There's going to be the listening party, like you mentioned, this coming weekend. Is there any
Yep.
shows lined up right around? Or if you can't say, I don't want to fuck that up either.
No,
But
no. There's the only two shows we have are our annual Tune Slow
oh yeah,
Die Ho Ho Ho
okay,
uh or
damn.
Tune Die Slow Tune Ho, whatever the fuck it's called. It's December 12th and 13th at Empire Live in Albany, New York. Uh Record comes out October 24th, 2025. Listening party at Kickstart Coffee this weekend, and also soundblind.com/powerkit. I think that's the link.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
Dude, so much going on. We'll have to reconnect and get into some of this other shit that you have because there's a lot going. Matt, thank you so much for the time,
Dude,
brother. This
of
has been
course, man.
awesome.
Horror episode pending. We'll do it maybe in a month or two or whenever the fuck time is correct. But
We'll
it was
get it,
awesome
brother.
talking to you, man. Thank you very much for having me. This is cool.
This is hey, my pleasure. Anybody tuning in late, this will be up here, the full live interview, and then I'll have this edited, have it over on YouTube. And yeah, once again, man, thank you so much. You have a good night. Take care.
Of course, man. Thank you. You have a good one.
See ya, Matt.
He's a lo-fi horror guy. Yeah, he's kind of a guy, but he is so lo-fi, lo-fi, a horror guy. Yeah. Lo-fi horror guy has been recorded in front of a live studio audience.